So in this video, I am going to talk about the reasons why, well, to be aware of low value women, and when you are, if you happen to be out in the public with them, like taking them to the store, to a restaurant, what have you. Now, why am I talking about this today? Now, because not too long ago, I was in a restaurant and there was a young lady sitting down by herself. No, I mean, when I walked in, she was sitting down by herself, so I didn't know if she was just waiting for her food. I didn't know if she was on a break or work there or work next door just came in or what she was doing there. But she was by herself at a table. And this is not really a place where you just sit at a table by yourself and not eat. I mean, she didn't have any food in front of her. And she wasn't, her body language is like, it's kind of hard to tell who she was with and things like that. So, in general, a woman like this would likely be approached, right? If she was highly attractive. She was, while she was sitting down, she wasn't overly attractive. She was maybe 4 or 5, nothing higher than a 6. Definitely not higher than 6. So it was just a run of the mill average chick. Excuse me. So waiting about 10 minutes. She's still sitting there by herself. And then she gets up and she goes to a man who was standing in line, who was in front of me, and she goes next to him, and they look at the food and they walk off. Now behind me in line is some YNs, right? About 4 or 5 YNs. And I'll call them young dudes, but it could be, a group of any young guys, right? They were kind of not rowdy, but they were from the hood. Let's be like that. So rewind just a second. When the chick that was sitting at the table, when she got up, she had some tight fitting pants on that had a fat ass. When I said ass was fat, it was fat. And when she got up from sitting down, her pants were so tight she had to pull them up because they were low riding. So, of course, we men in the group behind me, we all like, damn, that's a fat ass. We men, we saying that to ourselves. Even if we don't say it out loud, we looking. Our body language says everything. So she gets up and walks with the man. Nobody says really anything out loud. Then they go, her and her boyfriend or her partner, whoever. I don't know if it was her wife, her husband or boyfriend or what. But they go into a separate part of the restaurant. Then like 45 seconds later, the girl with the tight pants on, she walks over and splits the 4 or 5 guys behind me, reaches in and gets some hot sauce, and then walks back to her boyfriend or husband or whatever. And I believe one of the one said something like, I don't know exactly what he said, but I looked at her and she looked back. You know what I'm saying? So as she was walking away, she looked back. And I think one of them mumbled something. I couldn't tell what it was because they were in the midst of talking. They weren't sitting there like a library. They were in the midst of talking about something because she just like came up from behind them and split them and reached in to get a condiment and then walked back. And then one of the dudes, maybe they were in the middle of a conversation and talking, and she just happened to hear something or whatever, but she looked back. And this entire situation could have escalated. Had one of me or anybody approached the young lady, she was, I won't call her young lady, she was probably in her 30s, 40s, somewhere like that, but she had a fat ass. Had a man approached her, all right, while she's sitting there by herself, that could have escalated. Had the man, had he not read the book, had he not been aware of the situation that the woman put him in, right, could have escalated. And then it also could have escalated when she walked and split the YNs. They could have smacked on her ass, you know what I'm saying, just to be, you know how cats are. you know how cats are. Why somebody always calling with them. So she could have been walking back, and man, could have one of the guys could have slapped on her ass because she was advertising. Maybe intentionally, maybe unintentional. I know it's intentional because these women, they're smart. They like attention from men. It was like 4 or 5 dudes. So what if they smacked the ass or said something disrespectful? What is she going to do? She is either going to ignore it, which she did. She kind of looked back and ignored it, and or she could have confronted them and said, "What you said? What you said? Why you smack my ass? Blah 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 blah." In a restaurant, and then it can only go downhill from there, right? So you have 4 or 5 dudes, and then the other dude, her boyfriend, her husband, what's he gonna do? Is he gonna come and take up for her? Possible. Or is he going to tell her, yo, let's go, let's go home? You know what I'm saying? So the point of it is that when you're with a woman who dresses provocatively, and we don't know exactly if that was her ride or her boyfriend or her husband or whatever, but I just want to bring that to your consciousness, that how a woman dresses means a lot and can put the man that she's with in a potential bad situation. Because had a fight broke out, you got 4 versus 1, and it was avoidable. She didn't need to wear what she was wearing out in public unless she was just asking for attention from men. And I think that's what she was doing, and she got it. So just be cognizant of this if you're with a female who's dressed provocatively. And if you're a woman who's watching, understand that this could, if a man tells you, hey, maybe go put on something else, maybe this could be the reason why, is because he is trying to avoid any potential potentially threatening situations, harmful situations, or violent situations, right? So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.